Around the world, baby. The penguins are global, and so are we. Welcome, everyone, to Hashflow's Basic Degenomics, a weekly Twitter Spaces conversation where we invite those who are actively shaping the future of DeFi and the crypto industry to share their alpha. Today is episode 28 with Little Cachet, host of Pudgy Radio. From being an avid community member of Pudgy Penguins to creating content week in and week out, Little Cachet has her flippers all over this space, and she doesn't look like she's slowing down anytime soon. Little Cachet, we are excited to chat with you today. And we also have our friend Jasmine on stage as well from Hashflow, who will be joining us for the first time. Super pumped.
Oh, hello.
Awesome. Little Cachet, why don't you introduce yourself and give us a little background on who you are?
Thank you so much, Alan. GM, this is Little Cachet, and I'm the host of Pudge Radio. And I'm so proud to be a penguin. Although, actually, I'm a new penguin since this January, right? I guess my life has changed ever since. So, really happy to be a penguin and very excited to be here today. Thanks a lot.
Of course, you're crushing it too. I mean, you're like almost 50 episodes in on your own show, so congratulations on that. And you mentioned yesterday in the DMs that you were like in the rainforest yesterday. So what was that about? I mean, like I go to the rainforest cafe sometimes, right, when I'm on vacation. But what, you mean like a real rainforest and all that? Like, can you elaborate?
Oh yes, it's a rainforest. It's a real rainforest, yeah. And actually, we are organizing a trip so that more teenagers could get to know our environment and our planet Earth, and actually some of the endangered animals, so that we could cherish more of our existence and appreciate how wonderful life is. So yeah. There you go.
I love that.
So
Not only doing the mission on crypto and Twitter, but also in the real world. Talk about bridging the gap. You're one who's actually doing it. So much respect to you. Well, let's dive into the questions here. I mean, we've got a few for you. We're excited to talk with you. You know, you've done a bunch of shows yourself, and now you get to be the one answering the questions. So this will be fun. You are a super community member. You know, any project will be lucky to have you supporting them. Why Pudgy Penguins? What drew you to this community out of all the rest?
oh, that's so sweet of you. Pudgy penguins. There's no other, right? Really, okay, from my very limited observation, really, I cannot find any other project, NFT or not, like in this space, as cute as penguins, as really most creative as penguins. And I always found that this genetic, cuteness has attracted so many people. I guess I'm just one of the holders. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, there's something about them that's just special. You know, it's like you kind of see their community on Twitter, and then you actually talk to them. And I think they do a really good job, including yourself, of doing a lot of these audio content mediums, which it's a great way to actually get to know people, right? Like Twitter, it's text only. X now, sorry, forgive me. So it's a little bit more challenging to get to know somebody when they're doing only text content. But you guys are just quickly crushing that audio space. And kind of following up, there's a lot of builders and creators in Pudgy Penguins. Like, what makes Pudgy Penguins the home for them? Like, what do you think about that community? Like, attracts that kind of individual who, there's a lot of them in your community versus other ones.
Right, that's a very good question. And I talked to penguins, and some of them are yet to be penguins, actually. Some of the other, let's say, crypto players or NFT players or traders or flippers or holders. I've talked to a lot of people, and everybody has his own opinion. For example, some would say, I choose to be a penguin because there are so many degens in this community, and I want to learn from them. I would say, okay, that's legit, because there are really some of the top traders, or be it in crypto or in NFT, so in the huddle, as we could notice. And then some would say, oh, because I love the huddle so much, because like everybody is like do this huddle cuddle, and it seems that we are fam and friends. Like ever since you enter the huddle, you would receive like this friendship that you could find like none elsewhere. So it's just it's the only place that you could have this really unprecedented friendly environment. So yeah, that's also legit. And then I guess maybe creators attract creators and builders attract builders, and that makes the space, you see, people would say, it's a builders PFP, Project Penguins, right? Because we see a lot of CEOs and devs and like top DJs, right? Like yourself, right? We would use a penguin as the PFP because I don't know, I guess it's got that vibe, and it seems that you are kind of we don't want to sound too self-important though, but really we're so proud to be a penguin. So yeah, when you choose a penguin as a PFP, I guess you accept that, oh yeah, feeling cute today and will not delete later.
No, I think you're so right. I mean, I'll give you the quick background for me. So when I was at Arbitrum, I was the CMO of Arbitrum. We worked with Luca, obviously, to talk about kind of things we can do together. And one, I just gravitated to him as a human. I think he's inspirational. I think he and I have somewhat similar kind of upbringings. I was working since I was 12 years old. But what I'll say in general is just like I think they're doing everything right. I've built media companies. I built content studios before. It's very obvious to me that they're doing that. I've worked in IP and licensed products before. I think they're following what I would call like the best practices playbook. So that's candidly why I just bought one. I looked at, to your point, I looked at this as a membership card, right, into a club that I really want to be a part of, that I think is again going to be here for a long time. And so I think you hit the nail on the head. And I can agree with you. I know a lot of folks in Pudgy, and these are founders, these are builders, these are creators, these are other folks that are going to make it in their own right. And I think to your point, like great people attract great people. So I think that's part of it. One thing I wanted to ask you is, I've noticed you've hosted a ton of spaces so far. There's obviously a lot of folks that I think aspire to to be content creators or hosts or things like that. What are your top 3 tips for folks starting out in content?
Oh, thanks a lot, Andrew. This is quite flattering, to be honest, because I feel that I'm such a still like a new penguin, like yeah, a rookie in content. But yeah, if I think hard, I guess the top 3 tips would be form of the content and the time that you could contribute, and then the feedback. So I can elaborate a little bit. First of all, the form of content, like what's your edge? What do you prefer, right? For example, are you better at creating memes, or are you preferring like conversations, or maybe short videos, or maybe you just post your selfies? Sometimes it's also a way to attract people. And yeah, one thing that I noticed that it seems that we still don't have a talk show, or let's say stand-up comedy. So I would really look forward to that, like because there are so many things happening every day in crypto and also in NFT business. So yeah, if somebody could come up with a stand-up comedy, I think that could be fun. And talking about time, I guess maybe if you love some community so much, then you really hope to devote like as much time as you could, but then maybe there could be some conflict like with your real life, or maybe with your other undertakings. So yeah, you need to think about like your time frame. At the same time, I guess feedback also matters, because um, this is also one of the things that I should have done better, I guess, because I'm always too shy to ask for people's opinion after the show. But then I guess if you could actively and bravely ask people's feedback, then maybe you could make much better progress. Thanks a lot.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I'll double click on a couple of things. I think one thing you said that again, one of the media companies I built, we got up to about 300 million monthly active viewers. And I think part of it is exactly what you said. It's niche, right? You don't want to be everything to everyone. You want to pick a lane, you want to double down on that lane, and you want to, pick a lane that you think there's other folks interested in. The second thing I would call out that you kind of mentioned is this notion of LTV, lifetime value of let's call it a listener instead of a customer. Right now is the best time ever, in my opinion, as a former media guy, to launch a media entity, right? Why? Because the folks that are here right now are probably going to be here forever, right? So if you can go and acquire those folks as listeners and make them loyal listeners, you've got a very high value audience base that's never going to go, right? We're going to hit a bull market, your numbers are going to go through the roof. We're going to hit another bear market, your numbers are going to go down. But that core audience, which is so important, I think is here to stay. And then the last thing you talked about, which I definitely agree with, is this notion of the feedback loop. And so, funny enough, one of the things we've started doing, similar to this, is like before this episode, and you'll see this every week, we do a survey on, here are 3 things that we're probably going to talk to this person about. What are you most interested in? And then before we sent you these questions in advance, we actually targeted those questions to that feedback, right? Because we want to make sure that when people tune in and listen, they're getting the value that they want out of the content. So I think you hit the nail on the head. Shifting a little bit, I think, again, on that point, you're definitely seizing this opportunity of being early, both as a content creator and as someone, I think, in kind of the crypto Web3 space. So, one question that I have that I'm sure others are curious about is, with such a diverse community, how do you typically approach content from a global perspective? And what I mean by that is, there are, folks in all these different countries speaking different languages. Like you said before, there's builders, there's NFT traders, there's crypto traders. Like, how do you typically decide, what to focus on, which countries to prioritize? And I think, again, like, how do you do that globally and at scale?
Oh, thanks a lot, Andrew. This is also a very good question. And let me jog my memory. Did I have a strategy or let's say a plan like in the first place or when I started? I guess, yeah, up till now, I still think that since we are from the Antarctic, right, we are penguins, and in a way, okay, let's say, as a human being, we have our nationality and we are from a certain country, from a certain continent. But then when we think our own digital identity or like who we really are, we are penguins, then that means we are boundless. We are not just restricted by our nationality or like our region or like say the Babel Tower, right? It doesn't exist because we speak the same language. It's Penglish. Especially we have so many cute pudgy gifs, and that's our common language. We have, how many vocabulary do we have? We have almost 5,000 words, and that's our pudgy gifs. It's so brilliant. Even if we don't speak English, we can talk to each other with the pudgy gifs. So that's why we are borderless. So we can always have this cute, fun conversation. And kudos to PP, kudos to Berko, kudos to all our cute pudgy gift creators. Because hallelujah, finally, the Babel Tower is down. Because we can communicate without any hesitation or let's say there's no barrier for us anymore. So right now we are not from Asia, we're not from Europe, we're from the Antarctic, right? We're not from the US, so we are borderless. Or let's say we are from planet Earth. So that's why I guess maybe it's not difficult to, in a way, think in a global let's say in a global way or have a global perspective, because I guess we can also go with the flow, like every week, like what's happening in the huddle, and then let's talk about this, how happy it is to share with others, right? Like what's going on. And I guess it's always great to share your joy, share your and even if you have maybe some trouble, like, and then we can also talk about it and we can share each other's, be it sorrow or tears, and then maybe we can cheer you up, right? In the spaces or maybe through DMs. And yeah, I guess that's what the huddle is about.
Yeah, I mean, first thing I would say, I just love your vibes. I really do. I think, again, like, inclusion, positivity. I mean, one thing I've noticed just over time is like positive people attract positive people, right? And I think in general, I look at Pudgy as just like this center of positivity that is just, it's like all that does is just attract new members, right? And then it turns members into advocates and it turns members into amplification, right? Couple things I would double click on that you said. I think one thing is, and this is such an important one. Like, visual reduces barrier, and what I mean by that is when I worked in television and film, a lot of what we were doing is trying to bring movies to Asia, trying to bring TV shows to Asia. And I think one piece of alpha there is like there's certain genres that don't travel well, right? Comedy doesn't travel well. Everyone has a different comedic sensibility, right? What movies traveled well globally? Things like Transformers. Why? Because again, it's a visual movie that anyone can understand, right? Like everyone understands a crash. It's a shared language, right? Everyone understands a giant robot is a shared language. And then again, like it just becomes that much more accessible. So part of what I love about Pudgy when I look at, the memes and the GIFs and all of these things is there's not a lot of copy on them, right? What does that mean? It doesn't matter what country you're in. It doesn't matter what language you speak. You understand it. You can engage with it, right? The other thing I would say is that you kind of talked about a little bit is this notion of shared languages, right? Whether it's Degen language, whether it's I forget the name you use, but the Pudgy language. But again, like a best practice in my mind is create a shared language, create shared terms, words that everyone understands, and then all of a sudden, just like those images, that becomes accessible to everyone. So I think you said some really good things there. One thing I'd love to better understand, like I think everyone, self-included, is very focused on APAC right now for various reasons. But I'm just curious, what are the communities like in APAC? And how do they differ from the communities in maybe other parts of the world? And also, is sentiment high in APAC now, not just in NFTs, but kind of across the board?
Yeah, that's also a very good question, and I appreciate it. Let's say Asian Pacific is okay, as far as I could feel. It's always about feelings, Before, to be honest, before I become a penguin, I didn't spend much time on Twitter. Although I have my account almost since the very beginning, but for me, it's always like, okay, I have that account, but I don't interact with people. It's just maybe some of my real life friends that I meet at film festivals, okay, during those years, because I was traveling like in different festivals for quite a few times, and then but then with the penguins, I feel that, oh my goodness, I need to I need to really talk to the penguins because they're so funny. So, and then I get to know more about the penguins, maybe from different regions, and I noticed that, okay, so overall, I would say the vibes in APAC, these regions, is quite degenerate, I would say. If we invite the players to this program, then they're so degenerate, because for some of the people that I know in some of the local groups, it's almost like they don't sleep, or let's say they don't sleep much. Like for any of the meme coins, they would know, and they are the first to know, and they would got really good ROI. And then it's the same for the NFTs, because I'm in. Okay, so there are three really degenerate like NFT groups like locally, and I'm in two of them. It's the same, I wish I had the time to read every message in those groups, because they are funny, and they guarantee you almost like profit, but I just do not have the time to read every message, because every day there must be 10,000 or like 20,000 every day. Like people chat nonstop. So many opportunities, and so many, of course, like casual chats as well. So the vibes are pretty high, I would say.
So I
But
want I want your alpha. What are those three ultimate degenerate communities? I'm curious.
if you want to see, check their PFP, then there's only two words I can say.
Okay.
If you check their PFP, and then you would have a conclusion. Oh, what is that? Pudgy penguins. That's right. Pudgy penguins.
I'll give you a little alpha. So, being the former CMO of Arbitrum, like we had a very large degen audience, and I would say the one that most people don't know is Lost Donkeys, by far the most degenerate community on Arbitrum. And then the other one that was very degen for us was Diamond Pepes, which if anyone's familiar, just go into water cooler talk, and it's basically 4chan on Discord.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say, first of all, I'm so excited to have you on the Spaces. It's also my first Spaces. So I'm really honored as a fellow little pudgy penguin to have a fellow penguin on. Also so cool that we have a nice little huddle happening here. So thank you for the penguin community for joining our Spaces. But we talked a lot about visuals and leading with creative to emote and connect and make this global connection using creative, which is what one would call IP. And as Andrew mentioned earlier, we actually do this poll every week on Hashflow where we try to gauge what is our community most interested in. And funny enough, IP was the #1 top voted thing, top voted topic. About 40% of our followers were interested. So let's talk a little bit about Pudgy and IP. And it seems like you guys are experimenting a lot with Web3 IP and how far it can go. So wanted to get your thoughts on how you think IP fits into owning a shared narrative and how it supports you as a creator.
Right. This is such a good question because we are all curious about it, right? So I guess I can give you several like concrete examples to better illustrate like my idea or my observation. So first of all, I would like to share Huddle member. The name is Kent, and I pinned several of his like messages on top so that we could see how he make use of his penguins. Like in what aspect? Like, for example, he uses his penguin to create pudgy chef, right? And he's got create this double steamer, and then he's got a website called Pudgy Things, and on that you can check at least 5 different products that he's been creating. And the amazing thing is, ladies and gentlemen, he sold these products on Amazon, and then he's got profits, right? And with this profit, he buy another penguin, and he would buy yet another penguin. So right now he's holding at least 6 big pudgies and over 30 little pudgies. So you see, this is very self-sustainable, right? So sustaining that it's like such an organic life cycle, and he gives life to these little pudgies and big pudgies with his products. And of course he spread happiness and joy, right? Because when people are wearing these pudgy shirts, right, with these igloo shirts, oh, people are happy, right? For example, PP was wearing that shirt like during the San Diego Comic-Con, and everybody wants to have like a photo with him, and oh, this is such a cool shirt, right? And it's made by Kent from Kent. And yeah, another example is actually Shiv, right? Say Shiv is with this leaf crown, right, which is really cool, and he's creating a program called the Igloo, our Igloo, let's say radio, right? And with together with other Iceberg, right? Iceberg radio show with other 3 little pudgies. And I'm so happy to see that because he is creating so many memes with his, you see, Raja is here as well, and with his little pudgies. And every day he's hosting, of course, before you may know Shiv as one of the leading space hosts in the Beans community, right? That's in the Azuki community. And right now, we are so happy to have him in the huddle. And of course, he's still a member of the Beans community, but he's like more vocal in representing little pudgies. And what a great thing to say that, right? Because as an expanding community, it's always great to see people use his own PFP, use his own NFT to extend the meaning of IP. And of course, how could we forget Mongo? Mongo is #1. Mongo is #1 in terms of creating memes of ourselves. Like almost every week, Mongo's got a new talent show, right? So we are saying how talented and how enthusiastic Mongo is every week, because like this week he's giving away like pudgy fashion memes for every penguin, and he would spend hours and days in creating like customized memes for us so we could have our new pudgy fashion shirt. And maybe today it's about the hat, and the next day it's about like having your own pudgy toy. For example, we could each have our own Luca toy, we could each have our own for example, maybe PP toy, or maybe your own. If you are Elizabeth, right, you can create your own Elizabeth toy. So This is really lovely. And of course, JP is here. Recently, we are so happy to found yet another radio show, right? And that's Huddle Up. JP, together with two other little pudgies, we have a new show, and it's a weekly. So you see, it's blossoming. It's not like one people doing this. It's a generation of penguins. We are so proud to see a generation of pudgy penguins is launching such a revolution in Web3.
I mean, first off, you should just be a motivational
I
speaker.
know.
I mean, that's the TLDR. But one thing I was just going to add, and then I'll kick it back to Jasmine, is like, yeah, looking at the licensed products and consumer product stuff, I couldn't agree more. Like the piece of alpha that I have is I was an executive at CAA, which is a big talent agency back in the day, and I know Pudgies are represented by WME, where we're actually built a whole custom marketing agency, and the alpha, my friends, is the best commercial products, licensed products guy in all of Hollywood works for WME. We used to work together at CAA. I don't know if he's the one working with Luca on this stuff. I'm sure Luca has all his own relationships, but I'm like, they're just doing everything right. Yeah.
Shiv, brother, if you want to go say hi real quick, you got a shout out from, Cache, and you deserve it, man. The onboarding that you do. The second I had my, PFP, you were in the DM saying, hey, let's set up a call. Let's do this. And, I just appreciate you, brother.
I had to jump on stage. Cache was absolutely cooking. I feel so motivated. I was making food in the background. I dropped everything to jump on the stage. Honestly, it's more of an honor, to be fair. I remember when I joined the huddle initially, like the love was crazy, and the best thing I could do is only give it back, right? I mean, Cache's out here, everyone's out here in the trenches, right? It's a tough market, so I really appreciate every little thing that everyone does. And yeah, I'm so glad to be surrounded by genuine and most inspiring people. I mean, I think everyone on the stage has inspired me in some shape or form. So it's amazing to give back. And Cache, keep on cooking, man. I love it.
Shout out to you. Thanks a lot, man. That's really something you are building. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I'm really feeling the love, and it does really feel like a motivational speech today, which is in the spaces, which is amazing. But Cache, going back to you, I think if you're feeling comfortable, I know you are so great about highlighting all the individual members who's also on the call here supporting you. I want to shift the focus to you. So when we go back to the idea of IP, any ways in which that you've been thinking about using your IP within the Penguin community? How are you planning on integrating yourself? I know you said you're a new Penguin from starting this earlier this year in January, but yeah, wanted to shift the focus to you.
Thanks a lot for your question, Jessie. And before I answer this very important question of yours, I would like to go back to Andrew's mentioning about the Pudgy Penguins with the WME collaboration, because I think it's also like a fundamental. It would be a regret to just pass on that question. So this May, we were so proud and really so happy and surprised to say, okay, not so surprised, to be honest, the collaboration announcement with Pudgy Penguins and WME. And you mentioned CAA. Yeah. When I was working in the film industry, I also had some like interaction with the CAA and WME. So, and then when we see the announcement, it was like, oh my God, it's time to invite our film friends into Pudgy Penguins, So let's just invite all the film executives like in Asia and around the world, because it really matters. If they are really smart, they would be really instantly recognizing the value of Pudgy Penguins, because this is not the next generation Disney, or let's say Hatsune Miku, or next generation of Pikachu. This is the first generation of Pudgy Penguins. This is actually top of the world, ladies and gentlemen. And this is epoch making. This is something unprecedented. You've never seen before. Come on. Where else could you see such cute little penguins running around in the Antarctic and on the whole planet? Like, everywhere. They're just running around with these cute pudgy toys, and then really cool pudgy fashion, and then with such creative PFPs. And it's pudgy penguins, ladies and gentlemen, and children of the whole world. When we say heal the world, we actually mean we need cuteness, and that's genetic cuteness. And when children, no matter where you're from, when you see the pudgy toy cuteness, it's, it's an instant healing process. It's like, oh, like you will never be down anymore once you see the happy smile of pudgy penguins. And let's say more about the industry, the entertainment industry. Like it needs an IP that is so not repetitive. It's not like some superpower and then an explosion and then another explosion and voila, somebody's in trouble, and then maybe the superpower, and this Superman would just emerge, and then with this racing car, and then another explosion, and then there's some fighting, and voila, the film is over. Let's have something deeper, or something like just different, right? Why not give a stage to these cute penguins? And that's the chance for pudgy penguins, because we talk about typecasting, and each and every of our PFP is a type, has its own charisma, has its own personality, and it's a penguin, but it has its own character, right? You can guess, like maybe it's an aviator, like driving a plane, or maybe it's like a queen, from the Alice in Wonderland. It's like the Red Heart King, or maybe it's like a wizard, right? Always cooking, always inventing. Yeah, and maybe it's like a bucket hat. It's like a fisherman, right? Fishing by the Seine, or maybe fishing in in Amazon.
So it's funny. I don't know if you know, I was the former global head of entertainment and culture for Amazon headquarters, and I agree with you. I look at this brand, I look at this IP. I've made TV shows, I've made films back in the day. This lends itself so well to entertainment, like no question about it. I think what it really boils down to is packaging, like making sure you're aligning with the right writers, the right producers, the right directors, because it is a relationship driven business. But I do agree with you. Two quick things I'll say, and then I'll jump to the next question. One, this is the first space we've ever allowed other folks on the stage, so I think that I think that one obviously brings up a little bit of maybe the power of this community. And then second, and I'll do a post on this later. I just bought another little pudgy because like I was already bullish, but everything you've been saying, I'm like, this thing's never gonna fall apart. So NFA DYOR, but like your boy now owns two little pudgies. So shifting over, let's talk about onboarding. So when we talk about onboarding the next generation, and candidly, this is why I'm here. I'm not here to make a bag. I think it's our responsibility just to make the world better for younger generations. I've got a 2-year-old. I don't want him to have the same career path that I had. But a lot of parents, self-included, are part of the huddle, and it seems like kids already love the Penguins because I see so many of these posts. I bought. Funny enough, I bought a bunch of toys both on Amazon and on the Pudgy site earlier this week for my kid. But do you believe that Pudgy's in a unique position? Given their lovable characters, given the thrivable community? I mean, I think I know the answer is yes, but I'd just love to hear you talk about that a little bit.
Right. Thanks a lot for this amazing question. So right now I'm going to answer 2 questions. One is from Jazzy, like how would I expand or do I plan to expand my own IP, my own penguin?
Yeah.
And then, yes, the onboarding question. Thanks a lot. So first of all, I think it's important and necessary for me to take some action or take more action now, not only in creating the memes, like if possible, my own Pudgy gifts, and then also continue developing my own Pudgy book because I've been working with a designer, on trying to develop this book, and our ideas has been like updating, let's say week by week, and then I think it's good time to continue. At the same time, I think it's important to, actually, I believe I said this to PP and the Vocal before, right? Because we had this chilling pot. Oh my God. PP is hosting this let's say, probably one of the number one spaces here called the chilling pod. And not probably, it's definitely. Yes. And then the first time I was on the show, I was like, yeah, we had this nature program that we hosting a number of children, let's say, not just from the rural areas, but also from the whole place, the whole country, so that people could get to know more about nature. I guess we could definitely use the penguin, yeah, more in our nature program. So yeah, that's how we will extend our IP value. So at the moment, in short, that would be books, memes, paginature, and yeah, and more kids and teenagers. And that's actually a good transition to your question, Andrew. How do we onboard people, let's say the next generation? So this is actually a natural transition. We don't even have to do it, let's say, abruptly, because it's already happening, right? For example, this summer, when I was organizing this summer camp with the teenagers in one of the national parks, and then yeah, my students was asking me, what is your profile picture? I was like, oh, it's a cute penguin. So they were asking, oh, it's a penguin, how lovely, where can you find these pictures? Then I actually I could say, well, you go buy a penguin yourself, right? But I don't know if that's financial advice. But then I guess maybe we can onboard them gradually. So I would say to them, I would say, well, actually, I have quite a few. If you wanna pick one, then you can use it as your PFP, and then basically all of them change their PFP. They don't know the term PFP. They just know the profile picture, right? So they change their profile picture to my little pudgies. And then after the summer camp, I said, okay, so the summer is over. You can change your profile picture back. And they say, but we don't want to change back. We love the penguins. I said, okay, then keep it. And now, you see, by then they are becoming really expert users of the Pudgy gifts. So I don't know if it's onboarding or not, but at least I know that they are happy.
My friend, that is what we call onboarding. So good job, good job. One thing I want to talk about, because I think this is so important, like, as again a fellow content marketer, I do think content onboards. I think content supports this mission. So do you want to talk a little bit about just like the role that content plays in onboarding? I mean, I think you did just kind of talk about this a little bit, but maybe there's additional things you want to mention.
Okay, let's talk about, let's say, content creation, because yes, there are since you are an expert in content creation, right, and you've made, as I understood, so many sensational content yourself. So I hope you wouldn't laugh at my little perspectives. Maybe you would say, you're such a rookie, but still, yeah, I'm glad to share my 2 cents. um, let's say in terms of content, still, like yeah, no matter what kind of content you are creating. For example, Adam is here, right? Adam is such an expert in playing games and in creating gaming community. And you can also say that his PFP is also quite iconic, right? With that biker, and Pudge Gaming is so iconic, right? And actually, only 1 week ago, there's a member of Pudge Gaming won the world championship. You see, in the world famous, and it's a top notch. It's the top notch gaming competition, and you see, that champion was coached by a penguin, and a penguin OG, you see, and it's a wizard hat. We're so proud of him. The coach is a Mash, so his ID is don't mash. So I will later find his I post and pin it on the top. So it's in terms of creating. You can even create with your own games, right? Or if you're a gamer, you play games and you have this PFP, that's also one kind of IP extension, in my opinion. So if you're an artist, and then you could create your own art. For example, today, a penguin, a little pudgy. Let's say it doesn't matter if you're a big pudgy or little pudgy. As long as you're creating, as long as you're one of us, you are one of us. And this pudgy, he created a coloring book. And this coloring book features 32 little pudgies. And imagine the happiness, you see, because it can be launched like right globally, and anybody could print this book out. And as an adult, we can do coloring. We love coloring because it's kind of a therapy, right? And as a kids, of course, it's a natural like way of recreation, or let's say creation. And also, of course, we see Bailin, right? Hi, Bailin, founding VP of Marketing at Hashflow. You are a penguin, and I'm sure your penguin has an iconic pudgy gif. That's also content. And we love that content. You see, you were like nodding your head, and then there's a background of $1, right? That's a very iconic pudgy gif. So, and also we can create content on TikTok, on Instagram. And talking about Instagram, that's also one of the specialty of Pudgy Penguins, right? We have the biggest number of followers in terms of any Web3 project. Really proud of Pudgy Penguins. Such an expert in digital marketing. And what is marketing? That is touching people's heart. So that means not only besides the genetic cuteness, Pudgy Penguins also knows how to touch people's heart. At the end of the day, it's not about like give a shout out, or let's say to see who has the loudest voice. It's really about who is the funniest, who knows people's empathy. Okay, and yeah, empathy. After all, we are human beings, right? Or after all, we are cute little penguins who want to have some fun. I hope I answered your question, though.
I mean, you answered it and then inspired. So congratulations. And yes, and by the way, like, listen, I think great content takes time. I think a lot of it's experimentation, test and learn. But like, pat yourself on the back because you're doing an incredible job. I really believe that.
Yeah, I can vouch. Beelan is also a legend. You have a good sense, cachet. VP marketing, been around for a minute, and he's got good taste in PFPs. I will say that a lot of the Hashflow crew has become penguins recently, and the welcome that we have received is just, especially at this time in the market, it's quite something. It's something you would expect to see like peak bull 2022, that kind of stuff, and it just kind of is a testament to how strong your community actually is. And it can.
Alan, I'll give you a little alpha. So yes, that is correct. I think collectively our team has individually purchased something like 7 big and little pudgies this week. And then you guys were the first to hear this, but we also bought 2 big pudgies and 2 little pudgies for the treasury yesterday, which we'll talk about at another time.
Yeah, I'm so hyped about that, man. We are big supporters of the pudgies, and now the Hashflow DAO and whatnot is on that. So, and continuing the content, conversation here, your Pudgy radio content series has been a hit so far. Why do you think spaces have been so successful? What about this content medium makes it so special?
Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind. By the way, super bullish about your choice. I know it's not financial advice, but it's a happiness advice, right? If you want to be happy, get a penguin. If you want to be happier, get 2 penguins. And more happier and even happier, 3 or more penguins. Good to, really good to know that, yeah, Hashflow is with us. You see, I believe DeFi Sushi is developing yet another version of the let's see, we have this penguin. It's like an inside joke. It's like a pen pal mafia, right? We have these infographics with all the penguin builders around the world, and there are so many real builders, right, from Web3, like on that map, and we were so thrilled. So right now, so great to know that Hashflow will put a huge stamp on that new infographics. Congratulations to both of us, to every one of us. Hooray! Hashflow,
and actually,
to you.
Kashe, one other piece of alpha. So we're opening the Hashverse. I guess, what did we publicly say? Late September, early October. And one of the cool things is if you have a pudgy or little pudgy, you'll be able to join the Pudgy Allegiance, which is a community-run team. There's some folks in your community that have a lot of alpha right now. But anyways, definitely check that out. I think that the handle is just at Hashverse, but there's going to be some pretty meaningful opportunities there.
Wow, you see, I got so much really from this. Okay, so when I attend a Hashflow space, I get happy, and then I get alpha. You see, everybody should attend your space. Come on, everybody, let's join Hashflow space to get alpha and get more happier. So yeah, back to the question. Since we have noticed that yeah, Pudgy Penguins had already experienced the stress test right last year. So and then Luca's new team stepped in, and then ever since then we can see there are new progress on a monthly basis or even on a weekly basis. So Luca and the new team is really killing it. Like during a bear, things is not easy, has never been easy. So let's say maybe the universe, okay, let's say the all the energy in the universe is constant, and how happy you are or how high you are in the bull, and then how down you might be in the bear, because the energy in the universe is constant. And then so just when we look back at the bull, at the last bull, and then we look at this bear we are experiencing right now, so I really hope that I had already known Pudgy Penguin last March or April, like ever since Lucas stepped in. So I know the announcement, but I wish I looked into it like at the time, so that I would be so much happier during this bear. Because with the huddle, with all the penguins as your neighbors, as your friends, as your family, this makes a whole lot difference. You know, we are fighting the bear all together. Or maybe we are not fighting the bear. We are dancing with the bear. It's like dance with the wolves, right? We dance with the bear. So that's our attitude. It's no longer like unbearable. It's just a part of the life cycle, right? You have spring and then you would have winter. But if winter comes, will spring be far behind? That's pudgy. And we try to stay pudgy.
Well said, stay pudgy. You know, that's literally just the motto. That's what everyone should just go by, and happiness would just be, you know, forever. You know, continuing this content, you know, conversation, because we do create content in an interesting industry. Creating content around NFTs and crypto is tricky because of market volatility. But what do you think about this as a creator, and how does that impact the content that you're creating?
I think it's like, okay, so if you have this PFP or you have these penguins, you would shape the Pudgyverse in your way, right? You add your own flavor into this Pudgyverse. At the same time, the penguins you meet along the way and the kindness and the joy that you received, like day by day, also would shape like your creativity. So it's like both sides. It's bilateral. It works both ways. So I'm happy to be shaped by the huddle and to be shaped by my fellow penguins, because in a way you kind of like change my worldview. Like the world can be so positive and we could be so welcoming. Yes, people might say this is a business. That's kind of like dark forest, but still, in this dark forest, there's a beam of hope. There's a beacon of like light out there. And then it's like you are sailing through the long, dark journey, and then voila, there's a beacon out there. And okay, the beacon beams the shape of a pudgy penguin, and then you sail towards the pudgy penguin. You see, you sails through that dark sea towards the brave new world that Luca mentioned. And in this brave new world, we are fearless. We don't feel, we don't have that much fear anymore because we are together. You see, in the Antarctic, if you are a penguin and if you go alone, you can never survive the long winter. It takes a huddle of penguins to survive the long, harsh winter. It's true in nature, and I believe it's true also not only to live through the long bear, but also in terms of creation, because you always inspire each other. You keep inspire each other and you feed each other with new ideas. We Berkeley might find that it to be a little bit headache because we have so many group chats. You know, we have group chats about group chats. You see, we probably have 100 penguin group chats, and Berkeley has to commuting between Discord, Telegram, and X, or previously known as Twitter, and probably maybe emails. So Burko is probably the busiest person to check all the penguins on all kinds of social media. And of course, we got TikTok and Instagram, right? So we could see that a lot of conversation actually is happening on Discord. And it has good reasons. Why? Because on Discord, it's more open. So that basically, as long as you're a penguin, as long as your role is verified, people can see how you talk, how you interact with each other. And of course, your discussion is open and transparent. So a lot more people can get involved and get inspired. But if you talk on X, and then only those who are in your group could see it. And you see, for some newcomers, they could not see the previous chat. So that's also a pity. So let's be open, let's be transparent, let's inspire each other, and let's go and talk on Discord. Let's talk to each other. Don't just talk to yourself, right? It's more fun, right?
Definitely.
I could listen to you talk for hours. One thing I wanted to ask you, because I think again, like, you know, you're someone that's in the know. You know about all these group chats. I know about none of them. So send me links if there's like trader communities and things for me to be a part of. I'd love to join those chats. But for you, I'm just curious, like, what are the best resources that you use to learn new things? You know, it can be about crypto, it can be about content. But you know, any specific podcasts, newsletters, you know, other accounts we should look into, we should follow?
Oh, let's say I've been a Spotify user for so long, ever since I was a student in Sweden. You see, at the time there was even commercials like, let's say, billboards on the street, like in real life, say, okay, Spotify. And I guess Spotify is a good place to go. But if you're a music fan, you can check out all kinds of EDM. And I guess music is always an inspiration. And if you watch Netflix, there are tons of content that you probably find inspiring. For example, nature documentary, especially nature documentary about the Antarctic, and more specifically the penguins. How fun is that, you see? And to see your own breed, right, walking so happily in real life. And and also podcast.
Yep.
I'm a fan of BBC4, and there's a program called The Desert Island, and it's also people talk about their lives through music records. So like they would ask anybody, for example, maybe a royal member in the UK, or maybe a rock star, a tennis player, a writer, a CEO of some company. Like what's your favorite music album that you would like to take with you to a desert island? I find that it's like it's like, you see, it's like one of those Hollywood movies, right? Give you a very limited condition, and then you have to solve the problem. Or let's say you need to cure yourself, or let's say you need to find a life, build your life more creatively. What would you do?
Oh my God. So first off, I love that you said Spotify and then didn't go straight to podcasts, because I do like podcasts, but the alpha is, I'm actually also an Anon DJ. Funny enough, like I'm an Anon on other platforms, and I roll with like the Anjuna crew, the Spinning crew, Armada. Like if you've ever seen Armin on Alexa, that you now know why. But we're going to be at KBW very, very soon. I'm definitely going to come to your event. Thank you so much for the invite. And then we're having a private party. I may be spinning, and we'll send you, Kashe, the invite. And so if you want to send that to other penguins, you know, folks are welcome to join. Invitation only. But when you sign up, it'll say like what community or person referred you. Just put, you know, Kashe, put Pudgies, and we'll try to get everybody in there, which will be really cool. There's also some nice little gifts and utility that may come out of that as kind of all of our events. But yeah, we'll shift to Jasmine. Jasmine, I think you had a question that you wanted to ask, right?
Yes. Actually, Alan, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. You know, wow, this is one of the most fun I've had on Spaces. Not gonna lie, you know, and so this is just been so awesome. We appreciate the vibe that you've brought, to be honest. And you know, there's a couple more questions I want to ask you. We do want to respect your time, but your content is such high quality, and you know the audio is very crisp. You know, you have the intro music, you have the whole 9 yards, right? What tools do you use to help make your content? Are there any apps or programs you use on a daily basis?
Thank you so much for the question, because I think this is more of an advice, piece of valuable advice than a question. Because I should definitely look into this, because so far I guess it's more intuitively. Like I I play my favorite music, and then yeah, we talk, and then I forgot to answer one of your questions. Sorry, Andrew. You asked like what makes a Pudgy Radio like it's because I guess you were complimenting us, but yeah, so such a, a hot space in a way. But I guess the only secret sauce is because we have such good guest speakers. It's like, oh my goodness, I thank God you show up. Otherwise, nobody would like to hear me mumbling. You know, if it's just me, it's so boring, and it would be in a radio show. It would be like let's like a one man show. Who would like to listen that, right? Like like somebody self talk, even if it's a cute penguin, it's like come on, right? So I'm really thankful for that. These kind, cute, and wise penguins would be so kind enough to spare like his or her time with us, and always share with us the alphas and the feelings. Yeah, have a real conversation. And so yeah, I really thank you, Fifi, Beko, Mina, and PP, and yeah, everybody, Karmic and Samsung, and so and everybody here really, and CryptoSoul, right? And by the way, have you noticed we have a very cute little project account called Pudgy AI? You see, artificial intelligence. So this is our a member from Pudgy Europe. Yeah, he created Pudgy AI, a really cute idea. You see, even artificial intelligence, it has a space in our huddle. Oh, right. Back to your question, Alan. So, is there any app that we should use? I think we should use more of the Photoshop and those, let's say, Premiere, or maybe some simplified video editing tools. And for this question, I believe PP is an expert. And PP is so generous in sharing his ideas because he has this meme school in our Discord. So if you go to the Pudgy Penguin meme school, Pudgy Penguin Discord, and you search meme school, voila, you could find PP. And I'm glad that in the future that PP will still run it, and when he has time, and we'll probably make a video record of that, so that new penguins could also learn from the master, the meme master PP. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. PP's the chief meme officer at Pudgy Penguins, you know, so that's a pretty serious title. And, you know, he's an absolute Chad, and I respect him a lot. He creates amazing content. And, you know, I haven't met him in person yet. A lot of my friends have, and I have a lot of FOMO from that. I'm hoping that is going to change soon. We've been going for about an hour. We just have one more question for you. And, you know, we want to respect your time, and we're going to let you, you know, huddle or waddle back to the igloo. You know, what are your plans for the rest of 2023? Where will the majority of your focus be?
Oh, thank you so much. Maybe it's not so obvious, but every time I prepare, or let's say I review an episode of Pudge Radio, okay, so anytime the episode is over, I myself listen to it like one more time, and then yet one more time. You see, you played Daft Punk, and for me it's like one more time. I've played, let's say, for 3 or 4 times, and then write long reviews. Let's say what should be improved, and what should be said, and what should not. And in a way, it's almost neurotic, but I feel that it's necessary if I want to improve. So that's one thing. And also, I need to create 2 songs. So because I had a bet with my friends, if I do not create and publish 2 songs by the end of this year, then I would do some stunt and broadcast live, and then people would laugh at me, say, haha, that's someone who failed to generate 2 songs. So yeah, that's long overdue. And yeah, I guess, yeah, keep doing Pudgy Radio, and try to create something out of my penguins, and then 2 songs. Hopefully one song is about Pudgy Penguin. Let's do that.
Wow. Well, look, you've been crushing it already. You know, you deserve a break. So if you ever need a week off, like don't you know, that's allowed around here. People don't take breaks in this industry. But you know, already, like I said, approaching 50 episodes, I believe, on Pudgy Radio. You know, I didn't even know you were creating music as well. Like, just it's a blessing to have creatives like you in this space, and we appreciate you being here, even when it's not as popular to be in the market. And you know, look, at the end of the day, we need people like you here, and this has been an awesome space. Basic Degenomics is brought to you by Hashflow. We have conversations every Thursday at 12 p.m. EST with awesome people like Little Cache here. Definitely check out Pudgy Radio, and hey, Pudgy Penguins, quite at the community to join, and we'd love to have you as well. Andrew, any final words before we say goodbye?
I mean, usually I just say peace, but like, Lil Cache, I love you. I'm excited to party with you in Korea. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Wow, definitely go and meet. Thanks a lot. Yeah, let's meet, and then definitely need to meet Suki. Suk, okay, I pinned her message. Suk is the head of Pudge Korea. She is probably one of the best ladies that the Pudge ladies. She's killing it. You would find that she's so intelligent and so good to be with. So yeah, let's meet Suki.
I just followed her. Lil Cache, any final words before we say goodbye? We truly appreciate your time. This has been one of the most fun spaces I've done since I've been at Hashflow. And just again, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. If I could say, please give Bling and PP a chance to say a word or two. Thank you. And stay Pudgy, everybody. So happy that we are penguins. If you're not happy, if you're not a penguin yet, don't worry. You will be one day. And I guess that'll be very soon. So let's be Pudgy and be a penguin and be proud of a penguin.
I love that. B Lin, you've been handed the microphone, sir. Or in PP, whoever wants to speak first, PP.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out. Whoever wants to speak first. I'll give a shout out to Cache.
Oh, hello.
Oh, Blinn. Yeah, I don't want to give a shout out. Blinn's like super delayed. You go ahead, Blinn. I'll give a shout out to Cache.
Oh, hello.
Oh, Blinn. Yeah, Blinn's like super delayed. You go ahead, Blinn.
Yeah. I'm honestly just like multitasking, catching up in the background, but yeah, like so great to have you, Lil Cache, and love your energy, and I recently joined the huddle, so it's just an incredible community, and I love it, and and I encourage everyone else to join. So yeah, I guess that's all I'll say for now.
Brian's a legend. He crashed on his couch in Miami, so forever in debt to you, sir. PP, go ahead, man.
Yep, Brian, you're awesome. Cache, just huge shout out to her. Like, I remember the first day she joined and came on our space and just like absolutely blew us away with her enthusiasm. And like Andrew was saying, like every single time she talks, it makes me want to just go buy more penguins. We got to get you up on stage more, Cache, because it's such a joy to listen to and just makes me smile every time I hear you. So we love you. And thanks for having this space, guys.
100%. Well, look, we appreciate everyone's time. Lil Cache, keep doing your thing. You have a lot of fans out here who are going to support you every step of the way. Like I said, everyone, we'll be chatting next Thursday, 12 p.m. EST.